detail. The need for inclusion and economic empowerment of women was emphasized by President Dr. Irfan Ali in his message as he joined the international community in observing International Women's Day 2023, themed Digital, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. Here is Vanu Manikchand with our lead story tonight.
According to President Dr. Irfan Ali, Guyana shares and supports the aspirations of the international community in reducing gender inequality within the digital sector. In fact, he noted that the low-carbon development strategy prioritizes digital development and narrowing of gender gaps. He highlighted, too, that with telecommunications liberalization, the acceleration of the country's digital transformation is expected to increase. In this regard, the president said women can be assured that they will be an integral part of this emerging sector. He said, quote, "We will be mainstreaming science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM education, within our secondary schools and tertiary educational institutions, and in so doing, encourage greater female participation, particularly in the technology and engineering streams." End quote. He added that the Guyana Online Academy of Learning goal has unlocked greater opportunities, including for women, to improve their knowledge and skills, prerequisites for enhancing female participation in the digital sector. As such, he said, quote, "I am confident that the initiatives we are taking will ensure a prominent role for women in our digital sectors." End quote. Meanwhile, in his message on International Women's Day, Prime Minister Mark Phillips emphasized that the government is committed to the empowerment of women in technology. He said, quote, "Access to technology spurs innovation and creativity and expands economic, educational, and other opportunities available for self-advancement. We must find ways to ensure we maintain women's and girls' rights to meaningful use and development of technology. We must identify and remove the barriers that limit their access to technology to enable greater engagement, innovation, participation, education, and economic empowerment." End quote. International Women's Day is a global holiday celebrated annually on March 8th as a focal point in the women's rights movement, bringing attention to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, and violence and abuse against women. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
The Guyana Fire Service today conducted an all-women turnout exercise as part of their Women's Day activities, wherein the importance of females taking up roles in male-dominated fields was underscored. Lawana McAllister tells us more.
During the event held in observation of International Women's Day, a drill was completed by a team of women from the Guyana Fire Service and the Emergency Medical Technician Service. Diane Gill, a sub-officer attached to the Guyana Fire Service, explained that the exercise was done to show women are needed in the field and can perform as well as men.
We came out, full crew, all females, to show that we can do it to extinguish a fire that was burning, which was comprised of rubbish, pallets, tires. So we used both water and foam to show how the operation can be effective using the medium.
She added that it will be good to see more women join the fire services team and take up the profession with pride. She further urged those women who are already in the field to learn as much as they can on the job. The sub-officer further explained that the equipment for firefighting is heavy, and for this reason, teamwork is necessary. Meanwhile, Fire Chief Gregory Wickham said that 24% of the Guyana Fire Service is made up of women firefighters. This is an increase in the number of women in the profession since it was once male-dominated.
The fire service, being an emergency service, is one that is leading the way when it comes to our females performing certain tasks that supposedly has been designated as male tasks. And so we are very pleased this morning to have a turnout of firefighters, all females, and a return of an ambulance with all females executing their duties in this drill today. The fire service has moved beyond that And to date, we have 24% of our workforce in the fire department. They are females. And so we are creating that opportunity for our females, for our women to feel comfortable that they can work and perform as equally as our males would have done over the years.
LaWanda McAllister for the Evening News.
In commemoration of International Women's Day, we now share with you this feature on renowned fashion designer Michelle Cole Wagner, who is stepping headfirst into the business world, along with a business partner. COLABS, located in Georgetown, is set to be an all-inclusive space for Guyanese creatives to hone their skills. Here is this story.
Hello, my name is Michelle Cole Wagner, and COLABS is the new business venture. I'm known for Colfax. This was the house of Fax and Roses, which is not a company that I co-owned. So this was an idea that was suggested and brought to me, proposed by David, who is actually a partner in the COLAB venture. And it was to create a home for creatives to collaborate and make dreams happen.
That was renowned designer Michelle Cole Wagner, who is now fully venturing into the world of business with COLABS, a collaborative space for Guyanese creatives. Cole Wagner, along with business partner David Clark, have worked to provide a building with 5 creative spaces for artists. The COLABS building, located on Garnet Street, Kitty, is outfitted with a salon for hairstylists and makeup artists, a green cyclorama room for video production, a white cyclorama room for photography, a design hub, and a music recording studio. During an exclusive interview with the Evening News, Cole Wagner spoke of the persisting need for a space such as COLABS and how she came to love entrepreneurship.
As a young fashion designer, when I started, there was no space really. I think I had to create that space. I never attended Borough School of Arts, which was the closest. From a very early age, I became more interested in the art, but then I transitioned very early to the business of fashion. Because for me, it was, I love art, I love creating, I love making, but I also wanted to be successful at it. It must be profitable so that I can be in a position where I can branch off to do other things. So Colfax was the fashion, that's where that was created. In 2000, Colfax was registered and trademarked. And from then on, Fax and Roses was a company created by myself and my ex-husband, Trevor Rose. And Fax and Roses was a combination of costume, advertising, promotion, and fashion, all in the same space. So all of that was a progressive development of the business side of the fashion industry.
Quizzed about her transition to business, the designer said it was effortless, since she had included business elements in her fashion design career.
One of the things I always say is, even when working with the Fax students, is fashion does not only mean making clothes. It's that concept that you take from concept all the way to the final product, but it doesn't end when you finish the final product. It's the marketing of that product to make it go from you to your customers to a wider range audience so that your customer base will grow. And that's what makes it profitable. That's what makes it successful. So if you're not making money doing what you're doing, then you need to sit and focus a little on the business aspect of it. So for me, from a very early age, the business of fashion was important to me.
Meanwhile, David Clark went on to share the goal of the COLABS space.
Our goal here is to provide a space so that the cultural products, Mashramani, Cricket Carnival, these are all cultural products. And with everyone now looking at Ghana, we want to showcase our best. We want to make sure that when our artists and creatives create and produce a product, that we're all proud to say that's Guyanese, that's our own.
In addition to the creative spaces, COLABS also has offices for rental. According to Cole Wagner, rental fees for any space is affordably set to accommodate Guyanese creatives. Tasia Dickinson for the Evening News.
10 weeks after his daughter was killed in a vehicular accident in East Kanji, a father who was also one of the victims in the horrific crash is questioning the lack of prosecution for the death of his daughter. In this report, Andrew Carmichael shares a story of how the family is coping with the loss of their loved one and their intense lack of faith in the justice system, which 10 weeks later has failed to prosecute the person responsible for the toddler's demise.
On December 23rd, a 2-year-old girl was killed and her father and several children were injured when the firewoman, who was reportedly under the influence of alcohol, crashed into the motorcycle the child's father was riding. Now the father, Marley Ross, is questioning the seemingly slothful injustice for the death of his daughter. It was reported that on the day in question, 28-year-old firewoman Chandani Mohabir lost control of the vehicle in which there were several children and crashed into the motorcycle being operated by Ross. Ross had his 2-year-old daughter as the pillion rider. Still nursing injuries from the accident and has to walk with the aid of a clutch, Ross says there is not a level playing field where justice is concerned, as he referred to a recent case involving a drunk driver and police officers where the lawmen were the victims. According to him, that matter was swiftly dealt with. Also, in another incident, a contractor allegedly drove his vehicle into a crowd of people in East Kanji, killing 1 and injuring 4. In that case, too, the perpetrator was swiftly brought to justice.
Since it happened, them said the file gone to DPP since December. And it's like 2 months and something now. Nobody telling me nothing. I went like 3 days back at the station. And I see a sergeant, because I said I want to jump the chain of command and see he first before. So when I got to the command, he can't say I never got to he. And he said that them story don't done just like done. It then process, them things take long, and he can keep contact. And I still waiting up to now.
Police had said that Chandani Mohabir was driving under the influence of alcohol and was placed on $100,000 bail. However, to date, there have been no charges in relation to the causing death and for Ross, who was hit off of his motorcycle.
I hearing she's supposed to go to the country. Me know what's going on. Is the 6th of April or something like that here she's supposed to fly out. I thought the police said them take she passport. I know how, because once you're dealing with embassy, that mean she gets your passport. So them lying to me all the time. So I just want justice for my child.
According to Ross, he is still suffering from the accident and has been unable to work. In fact, he says that he is still receiving medical attention and would have to undergo another surgery shortly.
Right now I punish and I can't work. I is the breadwinner for my family. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. My daughter die, I can't do nothing. I still get a little son there for look at his 5. He gotta go school, he gotta still do things. I can't do nothing for myself right now. I can't really do nothing with this, and plus I gotta do, Tuesday will come in, I gotta do a neck surgery, cause the steel infect the hand and information is coming. It's the hospital I not too long come from, and I can't do nothing with this, and I can't help myself.
Police had said that the motor car PGG 278 was proceeding north along the eastern lane at a fast rate of speed when the driver lost control of the vehicle and skidded onto the eastern lane and collided with the motorcycle. 11-year-old Shivani Laundry, 10-year-old Chavez Laundry, 8-year-old Javier Blair, and 5-year-old Shania Blair, who were in the car driven by the firewoman, were all injured. The children are being parented by a single mother, Sharon McDonald, who had stated with the Evening News her struggles in taking care of the kids after the accident. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Members of a Belizean delegation are looking to learn from Guyana's experiences with its Amerindian Act, as their own country is in the process of drafting legislation regarding the indigenous peoples of that Central American nation. Here is this story.
The Amerindian Peoples Association recently hosted a delegation from the Toledo Alcaldes Association and the Maya Leaders Alliance from Belize's Mayan community. The team visited several indigenous communities in the country where they met with leaders to better understand the issues faced by their villages as well as their achievements. Their visit came amid news that the Belize government is looking to learn from Guyana with regards to indigenous peoples' rights. In fact, that government is looking to develop its own indigenous protection legislation in keeping with a ruling by the Caribbean Court of Justice that Mayan communities are constitutionally entitled to land rights they currently occupy. A representative of the Belizean advocacy delegation, Christina Koch, said while rights groups of Belize laud the move of their government to create legislation recognizing the rights of the country's indigenous population, there are some concerns.
Very interested in the experience of Guyana's indigenous people, in particular their experience with the Amerindian Act, because we are in the process of developing a legislation ourselves. We are aware that the government of Belize made a recent visit to the government of Guyana to learn from their experience with the Amerindian Act, but their exchange fell short, in my opinion, because they never really consulted or met with indigenous communities to inquire about the impacts or the limitations or even the perception of the Amerindian Act, where it concerns the people that it is whose rights it's speaking to. From our review of the Amerindian Act, we're very concerned that it severely limits the rights of indigenous peoples. There are some inconsistencies with international law standards, in particular with the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples.
Notwithstanding, she noted that there is still a lot Belize can learn from Guyana's experiences, especially from the perspective of the Amerindians.
We will lean on them to continue to help us to understand what are some of the red flags we should be looking out for. And as we engage with our government to build a legislation that would encompass and that would honor the recognition and the affirmed rights that we now have in southern Belize.
Moreover, she said learning from the Guyana experience, the Belizean organizations can now lobby for their government to ensure a better balancing act in the law to resolve third-party interests with regard to indigenous lands. The country now known as Belize was originally a key part of the ancient Maya civilization, which began expanding around 1000 BCE. Today, the Maya makes up about 11% of Belize's population. Most Maya live in traditional villages, but some also live near the now ruined cities of the ancient Maya Empire.
Coming up, skeletal remains found in Zila's house, and businessman allows quarantine pensioner to live in his house until hers is renovated. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
On the job, you know how it goes. 1 minute everything's going right and the next something goes wrong. Don't worry, Premier Insurance will make things right again. For all risks insurance, call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Fuel your success. Premier insurance coverage for less.
It was a long car ride home, and Kyla started to crave the all-natural Ripples Crunch. Ah yes, that was all she could think about. She thought she was dreaming, but it seemed so real. Daydream or not, the craving still hit, and she couldn't wait to rip into it. Sunshine Snacks Ripples Chips. Rip into 100% real potato goodness.
Sunshine Snacks Ripples. Rip into real.
Mobile lubricants is more than just oil. It's many oils. The blends of oil give you higher mileage. Choose from your advanced synthetic blend or conventional. It is the best oil for your engine.
Mobile lubricant is the best oil for newer engineering of engines. Newer engines are much more close tolerance. Thus, this oil has a variety of grades and build-up properties to suit these engineering. Mobile lubricant keeps the engine oil seals in a uniform order and condition. Mobile lubricants withstand longer drain intervals. Why is this? Mobile lubricants has a very high detergent in its oil, and once fully synthetic oil is used, we can achieve this.
So, whatever is your engine needs, choose Mobile lubricants. Proven performance for your engine.
It's the big taste you love. Devon Big Six for when you want more. Devon Big Six, the biggest six in Guyana. More chocolate, more custard, more value. Devon Big Six. Put a smile on your face.
Virtual Keno. It's a game of numbers. Choose your lucky numbers and win up to 10,000 times your stake. Visit www.superbet.gy to place your bets. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly. Superbet, your best bet.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. Skeletal remains were today found in a house at Zeelat, East Bank, Essequibo. The evening news understands that the house was occupied by a woman identified as Savitri, who lived alone and was not seen for some 6 months. The discovery was made after a fellow villager recognized that the woman was not seen in a while and as such decided to check on her. Investigations are ongoing. We now tell you that non-resident French ambassador to Guyana, Nicolas DELEGATION, has emphasized the need for Guyana to be better known in the European region as he unveiled plans for a delegation of French companies to visit the country to explore opportunities. More in this report.
Guyana must be better known in France, in Europe.
Non-resident French ambassador to Guyana, Nicolas DELEGATION, speaking with the evening news on the matter of fostering greater economic ties between the two countries.
It's probably easier to speak about Guyana in front of an audience of American enterprises, Canadian enterprises, UK enterprises, because somehow Guyana is well known in these countries. We have this deficit of knowledge in France about Guyana. We have to work. Of course, we say, but it's the country with the biggest growth, economic growth. We keep presenting these facts, which are, facts speaking for themselves, but we still have to accompany and to advocate, and this is the effort of embassies all over the world. Make sure that everybody knows about their countries.
Expressing an interest too for France to become more visible in Georgetown, the French envoy said the embassy is working on having a delegation of businesses visit Guyana in the first semester of the year.
I promised to President Ali that we will organize such a delegation. We are working on it, and we hope that it will encompass a variety of companies. We have some leading French companies with high technologies, rare technologies. We have French Guyana, which is not very far, and some of the solutions we found for French Guyana have been somehow Amazon proven. They work, and if they work in similar, I would say, similar human and geographical conditions, there are no reasons why they should not be applied as well here.
Ambassador DELEGATION hopes that when a local office of the French embassy opens in Georgetown in September, there will be more emphasis on boosting the economic cooperation between the two countries. It was only recently disclosed by President Dr. Irfan Ali that one of the country's foreign policy goals is to expand its relationship with French Guyana, an overseas department of France.
CGX Energy, through subsidiary Grand Canal Industrial Estates, has asserted that the deepwater port currently under construction on the eastern bank of the Berbice River will significantly boost local content in the oil and gas sector and the agriculture sector. Jarrell Bryan reports.
In their recent financial statement, CGX Energy provided an update on the work that is ongoing on the Berbice deepwater port. They are aiming to commence cargo terminal services late this year and begin operating the oil and gas support base in mid-2024. According to CGX, when the deepwater port is fully operational, it will provide important support for the oil and gas sector and opportunities for local content. It was pointed out that due to its location close to Suriname, the port will also help service exploration and development of Suriname's oil and gas sector. Additionally, the port will provide critical assistance to the rice, sugar, and agro-processing sectors. This is particularly important since Guyana is a front-runner in the charge to reduce CARICOM's food import bill by 25% by 2025. It had previously been announced that in-river construction on the deepwater port had already started. Local company Geico Construction was contracted to work on the access trestle and wharf as well as dredge the river. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
The indigenous community of Santa Rosa, situated in the Maruca sub-district of Region 1, is seeking help to better manage its solid waste and is hoping to get funding to develop a landfill site in the village. Andrew Carmichael tells us more.
Santa Rosa has experienced accelerated development over the past few years. According to Santa Rosa Village Council Secretary Maurice Torres, this started with the construction of the Camaca Bridge. Apart from that, a small portion of the road network was recently upgraded. Then recently there was the concrete surfacing of a 500-meter road network. The community is also now unlocking its tourism potential. However, the management of solid waste is a problem, according to Torres, who is also one of the senior councillors of the Santa Rosa Islands, which is one of the satellites in Santa Rosa. Torres says the council is currently engaging the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, to get approval for a waste disposal site.
Through the grapevine, we've got a green light already. So what we're doing right now, there's this SGF or SGP French grant, and we are applying for that. It's between $1 to $10 million. So we are working on the concept note for that, so that we can have those grant approved and we can develop the waste disposal site.
The community is also seeking a second grant to purchase a garbage truck. Currently, they are working on a sustainability plan for the second grant and addressing the issues of awareness.
Santa Rosa is moving in the direction of tourism. And to attract tourism, of course, you can't be having garbage or the place being litter. It wouldn't be a tourist attraction. So that is the one step to keep the environment clean. Then we move to tourism.
Currently, solid waste is done with the aid of tractors. The community has 8 tractors and trailers operated by community support officers, CSO, who would collect solid waste from the community. The tractors are mostly engaged in commercial work, which earns revenue for the village. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Andrew Carmichael joins us again to shed some clarity on the situation involving the quarantine pensioner who is seeking a new home for her birthday. After the Evening News carried her story, allegations surfaced that the woman was not being truthful and that she has a proper house to live in. However, as we hear in this story, a businessman has admitted that he allowed the elderly woman to temporarily stay in the bottom flat of his house until hers can be renovated.
Parvati Babunarayan, called Celia of Lot E1 Rample Street, Williamsburg Quarantine, is celebrating her 76th birthday today, March 8th, coinciding with International Women's Day. Babunarayan, who is a mother of 4, had shared her plight with this newscast and expressed her need for assistance in having a structure constructed for her so that she can live the remainder of her life in comfort. Allegations quickly surfaced that the pensioner was being untruthful and that she was in fact living in a building across the street. The claims were allegedly made by a disgruntled family member. The Evening News understands, however, that the pensioner currently spends her evenings at the bottom flat of a house across the street, courtesy of a businessman who worries that the elderly woman's abode would collapse and kill her. President of the Central Quarantine Chamber of Commerce, Rafiq Mohammed, said the house at which Babunarayan sleeps is owned by his son Javed, who runs GR Building Services. According to Rafi, Javed is currently out of the country on a business trip. However, he noted that they offered the lower portion of the building for Babunarayan to stay. Rafiq told Evening News that his son made the offer to Babunarayan until she can get her house renovated. He said too that his son's company is willing to assist in the construction of a better living quarters for the pensioner. Babunarayan says that she's been living in the now dilapidated building since she was a little girl. She says her parents owned the property. Now the building shakes with the wind and even when heavy lorries are passing on the street. She used plastic and cardboard to keep out the rain. While the pensioner finds a temporary comfort sleeping next door, she still longs for a place that she can call home. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the birds reports.
The Demerara Harbor Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Thursday, March 9th at 4:15 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Thursday, March 9th at 5:30 hours for a period of 1.5 hours.
Hudson confident of strong Caribbean performance as 18 shortlisted for teams so far, and South Africa 3-11 for 7 after West Indies fight back. Details of these stories in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
John Lewis Styles has opened a new department, now offering home goods. Here you can find quality sheets and towels, pillows, blankets and even bath mats and shower curtains. Organize your laundry with clothes baskets, fabric steamers, irons and ironing boards. For the kitchen we have small appliances, towels and mittens, pot sets and dinner sets too. Decorate the house with mirrors, picture frames, floating shelves and decorative pillows. All these and more on Waterloo Street. It's fashion for the home. John Lewis Styles. Simply
Moving, lifting, or bending, whatever the job, we at Sylvie's Variety Store have the right tools to make it happen. Pallet jacks and hand trucks for bonds and industrial sites, easy pickup and convenient maneuvers. Chain hoist from Roughneck and Northern Industrial, the perfect solution to lifting heavy objects. And then there's the 12-ton and 16-ton hydraulic pipe benders from 1/2 to 2 inch. We also stock the shop press machine from Northern Industrial. Sylvie's Variety Store stocks the tools to make it happen.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.